The information featured in this program is general in nature and does not take into account your personal circumstances, needs, or objectives. Guests appearing in the program may have commercial arrangements or associations with some of the companies, organisations, or foundations mentioned. Opinions expressed by the hosts or guests are personal of nature and not to be considered as advice or an inducement to purchase products or services. Before making any investment, insurance, or financial planning decisions, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise you on whether your decision is appropriate for you. This program is for informational purposes only. Of inflation, okay, here, which is our favourite topic. I know for me, I think I did economics back in high school in the 90s, and the first thing you were taught was don't print money. That was the first thing, right? That was the core feature of economic principles. But now we're seeing that being turned on its head, obviously here. Inflation, what's your thoughts on this, Mark, from what you're seeing to date on this? And obviously we covered this off in the paper. The US represents a large amount of world currency flow, and expanding monetary supply has an impact on obviously prices in CPI.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see it, just like you said, from an economic standpoint, you're starting to see it. Start seeing blips of it, like if you go to the store, you'll see how expensive like a can of beans are, or toothpaste is starting to very slowly start showing the increase and stuff. Coffee's starting to go up, price of coffee. So the printing of money is being seen, and again, kicking the can down the road. Someone's going to have to pay eventually. Eventually, it's going to be inflation, and it's eventually going to be higher taxes, right? And that's we haven't seen the rise in taxes yet because they're still trying to make sure the economies don't totally crash. But you're starting to see it in the CPI. You're starting to see it in additional goods. Some of the oil, I don't know. I guess as people start coming out of the pandemic, you're starting to see people start traveling more. People are itching to book resorts and go on, travel to Europe. I think Europe lifted the ban on people coming in there. So you're starting to see some of the oil prices start to rise. But it's safe to say that people that actually try to book, they're booking cruises, even though the cruises aren't starting up yet, and they booked different vacations, even though like the resorts aren't open up yet. They're hoping that this is going to happen, and if something if something bad happens again, then it's going to be twice as bad. And again, it goes back to the point of them printing some more money. So again, as I said, that when the U.S. Sneezes, the world catches the cold, because you can see it in the actual graph that you're showing here, that the U.S. has almost have over probably 65% of the world currency, and then everything else. The next one's Australian, Euro, and then it goes down from there. But as the money gets printed out, other countries will be affected by it, and you might start seeing it sooner in the other countries than you really see it in America. But you can already start seeing, as I said before, in the CPI and what's happening with all at the grocery store.
Definitely. And as we can see, US dollar here, euro makes up, close up to 70-80% of this flow worldwide. And if you do have high imports from other countries, you're going to experience that inflation in imports too. So There's also this: if you did print a lot of money for your country, you're going to find out inflation other ways. So it's quite an interesting stat to look at. What are your thoughts on this, Dave? Is there anything to add to Mark's comments there?
Oh, look, I think Mark covered it pretty well there. And I think that saying the US catches the cold, the world sneezes. Whilst we're starting to see, I think, some shifts as a result of the increase in the influence of China, and it's going to be interesting to see how true that holds into the future. Certainly, it is true at the moment, but it's probably a big question for me as to how that works into the future.
Oh, without doubt, that's the big question mark at the moment. A lot of debate around that too, and I think that's going to be the next decade's worth of discussions and information to be looked at.